Welcome to MaD Life, living your life in excellence and reaching your full potential. Hi, this is our first episode. My name's Dave Showman, and my wife Mary is here, and she's going to describe what we're going to be doing in MaD Life. So, Mary, what is the purpose of our podcast?
Well, thanks, Dave. So this morning, Dave and I watched a service from Elevation Church, and Pastor Stephen Furtick and Pastor John Gray sat down. For those of you who don't know, Stephen Furtick is a white man in North Carolina, and John Gray is a black man, and they sat down and they discussed the injustice that has happened over the last couple days with the death of George Floyd. And what I got out of it was when Pastor John Gray said, if you watch the video and you don't feel anything, then I pray for you that Christ will pierce your heart and help you to feel. And so watching that and then thinking about afterwards, that's what we really are about. Mm-hmm. We are about the heart work, the workings of the heart.
Yeah, I agree. That Floyd thing was just devastating, watching our different cities across the country getting burned and looted and everything else. I mean, I don't think there's got to be some kind of a balance somehow. You know, something that we can say, hey, we hear you, we understand, but do we really need to burn the city down along with it? I think if people had their hearts opened, they wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be burning down the city. Now, I totally get why people are frustrated and upset about it. I just hope that we're able to touch people's hearts to start conversation about this, to start it, to bring it up. But our podcast is not just about Furtick, and it's not just about the gentleman that passed away, you know, at the hands of a police officer, which is devastating. And I agree with Stephen Furtick that if anybody watches this and you don't look like there's murder being committed in front of your eyes, there is definitely something wrong with your heart. So I'm just like baffled as to why it's taken so long for somebody to do something. So this is one of the reasons why we're doing this, but we're also going to be talking about other subjects. We would like to talk about grief, death, and we want to talk about, as crazy as this sounds, sex. What does that mean between a couple, LGBT community, etc.? We want to get into hearts of things, dive deep into this, and make this podcast open for all people to come and talk and chat about the hard subjects and the deep subjects and maybe softening of the heart. What do you think, Mary?
Well, I think everything that you said is correct. And when I think about what we're doing, it's looking at the person as a whole, meaning physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And if you really think about it, that really all comes from the heart. So that's what we're going to be covering. And we will have guests in. I know several people in law enforcement that might be able to come and share their point of view. Dave and I are mentored by some amazing men and women of leadership. Mm-hmm. So we'll be sharing some things that we learned from there. And just like Dave said, to open up conversation and to do the hard work. This isn't easy.
It really isn't easy. I mean, we're mad about life, and sometimes you just got to get mad, you know. And sometimes by being mad and making, you know, the acronym MaD means that we have to have a little craziness in us to dive deep. And this changed people's hearts. That's what this is all about. It's changing people's hearts. I mean, even if you took a step to the left a little bit, to the left to the right, and saw things differently from a different perspective, and just to reach over to the other line and say, Why are you thinking the way you think? I like to understand, how did you get to there? How did you get to thinking whatever it is you're thinking, and look at the person as a person, not an object. Look at a person as an individual and not a thing.
Yeah. Well, and also when we talk about MaD life, we were talking to our daughter who's soon to be 18, just graduated high school, and when we asked her about what she thought about MaD life, she said, "Well, it sounds like you're angry. You're mad." Mm-hmm. And we explained it to her. When people go to sporting events, they paint their faces and they paint their bodies and they're crazy, and the finals and the semifinals and the playoffs, and people just get fanatic about their teams.
Yeah, exactly. Fanatic about the teams.
Right. So now imagine if you just became fanatic about the way you lived your life.
Right.
Meaning, I'm going to do what I need to do, excuse me, to achieve my highest potential. Mm-hmm. Because I really believe that if our hearts are open and if our hearts are healed, I'm sure that a lot of our topics are going to go into healing the heart. Mm-hmm. If we're healed, then we can reach our full potential and we can help others and just become servants of each other. That's what I believe part of the reason why we were put here is to help and to serve each other.
Right. And other things is that if you're doing things that you're not supposed to be doing, maybe it's time for you to pivot. Maybe it's time to change and look at things differently and do new things. Because we all know deep down inside when we're doing wrong. We know it. We know. I mean, just looking at the videos of people looting, they know that's wrong. Seeing the wanton destruction, we know that's wrong. Could you imagine if those people's hearts were healed and they were able to pivot and do different things and really have the deep conversation about what's really going on? Maybe we can change the way this country views people in general and people in all walks of life. Our heart is in this, and we really want to make change. Even if we touch one person's heart, and if that's all we get, I know that person's going to live a remarkable life, because if they could turn away from all the stupidity and crap that they're doing and doing what they're supposed to be doing, that's a whole new life for that individual. Again, we want to make people live life in excellence, not live a life of routine, humdrumness. People need to wake up, and people need to change how they view their surroundings and how they view this world.
And one of the things that Dave touched on a few minutes ago was grief, and everyone is experiencing grief right now in the world, very heavy grief. Mm-hmm. And I've had specific training around grief, and I know Dave has had training around, I don't know specifically around grief, but that's kind of why we're here, is to help people, just to be there for people. If someone needs to talk, just for us to listen. Mm-hmm. If they need help, we can help coach them. Mm-hmm. Dave has do you want to tell them what your degree is in school? Because I always forget.
Well, it's very memorable. My degrees, I have a master's in counseling psychology. I'm not a therapist. I just want to make that clear. But I've had, I've done therapy before. But right now, I think my messaging and what my wife and I's messaging is going to get to a bigger audience, and maybe we can dive into it a little bit more. Because we're hurting. This world's hurting. And we need to have some hope that things can change for the better. This podcast has been put on my heart by God. And I know that's not going to be appealing to a lot of people, but hey, God and my relationship is real important to me. But God's put on my heart that I need to get my messaging out and his messaging out. And maybe we can get some hope for people's lives. Those are one of the things I like to talk about is religion. Why do you believe the way you do? You know, there's nothing wrong. And this is all safe zone. This is a safe place to ask the hard questions. No one's judging. I'm going to come from a place of ignorance, because I don't want to come from a place of knowing everything, because then I'm just throwing my opinion out to everybody. I am really truly want to know why people do the things they do and how they got to that part, and maybe they can see things differently. You know, so we're real passionate about the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual part of an individual. You know, I mean, we've heard of mind-body medicine, but that kind of got a little woo-woo to me a little bit, you know. But I mean, I know I'm gonna piss people off, and I'm okay with that. If you have any ideas, we're open to any kind of idea. We'll talk. No subject is off limits. We have our website. You know, I think we're going through. Well, Mary can explain it better than I can, because this is our first podcast, so it's all new. So how are we getting people to get messages out? How do we get them to get to where we need to, you know, to respond or talk about things?
So obviously we have our YouTube channel, so people can make comments on there. And I will be posting links on our Facebook page, which is MaD Life, which is capital M, little a, capital D, and the word life. And also on my blogging page on blogger.com. And I think I have it under MaD Life now. Just a little about my background. I'm going through school right now to get my degree in psychology, and also have life coaching training through Debbie Ford and the Ford Institute. Mm-hmm. And my passion is really just to help someone not feel alone and know how worthy they are, mm-hmm. and how valued they are, and how loved they are. Mm-hmm. Dave mentioned God. We are going to talk about God. I am sure I will mention Jesus more than once. And yeah. It's not about religion. Jesus was not about religion. Jesus was about love and about kindness and about forgiveness. But even Jesus got mad. He turned over tables. He did things that bucked the system. He did things against common practices. Mm-hmm. And that's why we're here. If people can learn to think for themselves and to learn how to research, mm-hmm. maybe one of our topics will be research, right? Because we both had to do it with our schooling. Yeah. But I learned through my schooling the last 3 years, before I post something that I just see, because I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling upset, or I'm feeling excited. Before I post something, I research it first now.
No, that's good.
Because when you learn, but long story short, I'm rambling. That's why we're here. We're here to help people.
Right. I mean, we're not here to tear them down. We're here to lift them up. Like again, we're going to talk about a plethora of things. And do you have anything else, Mary? I mean, I think we kind of wrap it up right now, I would think. What do you think?
I think so. And please excuse all of our because I know there were a lot.
And that's okay. This is our first recording, so I'm really excited, and I'm pretty sure we'll get better. Until next time, enjoy your life, have a MaD life, and live a life of excellence. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.